Yay! And hello, dearests. I am here to talk about method acting and what the heck that is. If you're starting new, you probably don't know this. So there's like different types, methods of acting. Basically, each actor, in essence, you go to tons of different classes or talk to different actors, and then they teach you their tips and tricks. And then so read tons of books, and you're basically a sponge that you pick up what other actors say and try it out. Don't judge a method, just try it out and then see if you can rescue an aspect of a method. But as you can see, there's so many books, and I have so many on Kindle that I don't have physically with me. But this is my favorite one so far out of the many classes I've taken in the 3 years of drama school. This is my favorite one. It's called the Warner Lachlan Technique, and it is based on the imagination. And I've produced some of my best acting work with it because it is safe. It's like many method acting techniques. It's like, okay, like hold, this, how does it feel to drink a really cold liquid? Imagine that, and then drink it in real life, and then just bring up the memory of that. And that's, I guess, relatively okay for when you're doing something as inoffensive as having a hot or cold drink. But if it's like, oh, this is a scene about heartbreak, and just bring up the memory of the toughest heartbreak you've had in your life, fuck no, because that is torture and it doesn't make you a better actor. Just that is not acting. I mean, in my personal opinion, it's like, if that's why sometimes you have non-actors that win amazing, outstanding prizes. Some are just naturally talented, and that's great, and they can just roll with it, like no preconceived ideas, just jump into it. Naturally, that is what every actor needs to have, is this innate confidence and blind faith and gut feelings and reactions and listening, and something that you can definitely be born with that. However, if you then for instance go to a corner of the city of Lima, Peru, and ask a kid that's there and has been born and raised in this corner of the city, and to tell them, okay, you have to act out this story that's very much like you lost your mother, this kid also loses their mother, and it's all about this corner of Peru. Of course you want a kid that has been born and raised there and has the same life conditions, because they'll be able to truthfully potentially act it out. However, by revisiting trauma in a not like safe space, it can really jade you. And even if you're like, oh, but anything for the craft, you might not even have the best craft, because if you're re-experiencing something that is too fresh or too traumatic, you might not even want to go there fully because you're scared of the intensity of it, which means that your acting is sort of limited anyway. So that's one of the many reasons why I don't believe in straight up method acting. If it's like this idea, oh, you're out of breath because you've been running for an hour. Does this mean that you have to run for an hour before the take? And if you're doing 20 takes, does that mean that you're running in between the takes? Or can you just like use the imagination and of course jog a little bit and then go into action, because obviously the body has the muscle memory of it. But this is hands down my favorite technique, because the best thing is that you build the character through imagination, and you dive deep through analysis of the text, which I think is the only way to do it, right? Because you use, oh, it's right here, and at the end of the book you have like the guide as to how to do it. So givens, just the facts of the script. So it's like, oh, she cleans the floor, she packs up her backpack. Okay, those are the givens. And then you go into the hows of behavior. When she cleans, she seems to be very specific about the direction in which she's cleaning. And when she puts her backpack, packs her backpack, then she seems to be very detailed as to what she includes in the backpack. And so you're just doing the hows of behavior plus adding this, and then the whys, and then you start analyzing why the action might be that. So, oh, she might be really stressed out and that's why she's cleaning, or has she been like super responsible all her life and felt this huge pressure of taking care of like her younger siblings, because the scene is about a woman that takes care of like her kids and stuff, of her younger siblings. Anyway, and then you build the core knowledge of when they were kids, and it's like very detailed process, but I think it's the best. It really is. And you can just buy this book on Amazon, and or take some classes. It's online or in person in LA. But yeah, but even that, like, I think reading this book of Yoshi Oida, or I think that's how you say it, it is so beautiful because it's a different, type of my excessive notes. But yes, and then another thing is that I would say, like, acting is just one aspect of the industry, and the industry is so big. So if you're naturally inclined also to set design, then feel free to hang out with set designers like in real life and learn about that, and it can just add to your experience of being an actor. Like, for instance, I have screenwriting because I was like, oh, I love scripts, and let's see how I can help other people understand how to write a better script. And there's script writing is a whole science, because it has to be very specific. I also have entertainment finance because I realized, holy crap, like, the most important thing is, do you have the money to fund your project or not? And then this is another book about film financing. I like producing because that's ultimately the power to make a project come true. And I would also say that just reading in general makes you a better actor, because the things about other people's experiences or watching documentaries just makes your brain like expand. And ultimately, have faith in yourself. That if this is something that's like gnawing inside of yourself, that's trying to come out, then it's worth pursuing. Don't care about what anybody else says, just keep working at it. But at the same time, if you have questions, do reach out, because the hard part about acting, I don't think it's actually the craft, but it's the psychology of in between jobs, and how to not take a moment of not working as oh, I'm not good enough. It's more like, it's okay, and how can I keep up this spirit of acting? So I would say, yeah. And then ultimately, the interesting thing is that each person has their own career, meaning what worked for one doesn't necessarily mean that it worked for another. I do suggest reading the autobiographies of actors and actresses, because it gives you a real taste of what it was like for them. Unfortunately, some of them can be very entertaining, whereas not that revealing. But I particularly liked what was her name? I particularly liked, sorry, this was, I think, a few months ago when I was reading all the autobiographies. Taraji P. Henson. I really loved her autobiography, because she was a single mom, and so it was a very unique struggle. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of like single moms out there in trying to make it as an actor, or making it already as an actor. But for me, it was very much like, wow. And I loved, it was so well written, an amazing vocabulary, which I'm a nerd about, and I always appreciate when reading a book. And it was also very raw, in the sense that it seemed to be very real. And then another book that I really liked was Anna Kendrick's one, because it really taught you about, her first, she was a child actor in New York, and then but she was still grinding the pavement in LA. So I thought that was like really helpful to get an idea of what's behind the scenes. Like, even though she was at awards ceremonies, like, she was still finding it hard to pay rent. And I do think that, like, sometimes the fame doesn't equate to how many dollars you have in your bank account, and how they might as well be two different things. And there's so many actors or musicians, famous people, that they made a lot of money and then they went broke, because I do think making money is one thing, and then you also have to figure out like personal finances. And for that, I recommend the latte factor as an introduction to personal finances. But then there's other books like this one, for instance, which is called Unshakable, which is more about investing. And there's so many tools at our fingertips in apps on phones about investing. And so, you then assess your risk tolerance and whether you want to put away 10% of all the money you make per month into investing and then don't touch it. And that's how you actually become wealthy. Not about the money you make, but the money that is working for you. So yeah, I also recommend reading about spirituality because I think that connects us to the sort of magical element of human or experience on this planet, and sort of gives you a glimpse that there's something more. And I actually think that a lot of the times when we see magic on screen, it's that extra bit that for me it's a very spiritual experience when I do acting. So that's all I wanted to say for today. Hope you find that interesting, and if you have any other questions, please let me know.